All right, welcome back to our Trivium discography review.
This time we got the second one, Ascendancy, which is the most iconic Trivium album, I think. It's fair to say. Okay, so again, as we mentioned in Ember to Inferno, the end of everything is the intro for this one. It has the same feel to it, except this time it's more of a impending, like an impending doom. Not that the other one didn't, but this one was just it actually gives you like chills listening to it the first time, and it still does once in a while. I'll listen to it and I feel like, man, this feels like something is about to happen. Like whatever it is, it's about to be huge. Like that's what that feel is, and that's the identity that Trivium takes with them further into other albums. So yeah, David, if you want to go ahead and give your take on that.
Yeah, it's just a really cool intro. God, I love when albums have intros like this one. It really gets you pumped up for what you're about to hear. And what you're about to hear is pretty damn sweet, so...
Yeah, so a very important point is that the feel of it matches the substance. So not only does it hype you up, it matches the hype. And that's a very important quality to have in a good album. Is you're the build-up, it matches the material that you have. So... very, very good impression of what the album's going to be like. So, okay, first track, Rain. So, right as the end of everything ends, it goes silent, and then it just kicks right into gear into Rain. Rain is a very high tempo, very intense, extremely fast-paced track. It's not my favorite, but it's very, very good. I think it does justice as the first song. David?
Yeah, especially like that first like minute. It's just so awesome how it like kind of like down, ba-da, and then like it just comes in like really fast, and it's just like, oh man, it's a really good like hype song, you know.
But okay, so next we go into Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr. It's one of my favorites. I mean, I have a lot of ones that I really like in this one, but this is one of them, just because it's a very catchy. It's a very catchy tempo they're playing in for this one. It starts off with the drums, basically a drum fill, the intro of it, and it's different. It's something that they hadn't done. Matt explained it as like an evil individual that they're identifying, and it's somebody who, whether that's a boss, a very controlling boss, a very controlling person in your life, or as big as a dictatorship. He basically created this song so that it could match somebody's, whatever that is in somebody's life, that person that's controlling. So that's what Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr is about, which is a very good, very well thought out idea.
Man, on drums, it's so fun to play. I mean, goodness.
It's
catchy. It's probably one of the funnest Trivium songs to play.
The most fun.
The most fun. Funnest.
Okay, so then we move on to the blast.
Literally.
Drawn and Torn Asunder. So this one is following. So it's all stories, just so that we make it clear. It's all following a story of somebody that they've dealt with in their life that was controlling, and it kind of every song segues a little bit further in that story. So Drawn and Torn Asunder is basically that person dragging them all the way till they break, and basically what they want to do to that person. Drawn and Torn Asunder it starts off very not slow, but definitely calmer than the rest of the tracks you've been hearing to that point. And then it picks up pace. It's not one that really stands out a lot, but it is a really great track either way.
I really like it just for like the kind of like the bridge and the breakdown. I think it has a really good one of those. Yeah, then we go into the title track.
Ascendancy. So Ascendancy, easily one of my favorites of Trivium, the Trivium discography. The reason why I like Ascendancy is because Ascendancy it sends a message, so that not only as an album does it send a message, it sends a message to people, to the listeners. Okay, so Ascendancy is about having gone through all that. So at this point, you've had somebody in your life who's controlling, who's broken you down, who's done horrible things to you, and Ascendancy is like the end of that. So basically you've reached rock bottom and you rise from the ashes and ascend. So in the song, the lyrics are ascend above the ashes of the world we once knew. So that's literally what that's about, is rising above that.
Me personally, I don't really revisit that song unless I'm hearing the whole album in full. Yeah, it has a good message. I mean, goddamn, all these songs have good messages.
Right. But yeah, I like that one a lot just because I can relate to that one. Okay, so moving on. Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation. So that one is Matt goes into detail about that one. What it was simply putting himself in a situation, well, he never was in it, but trying to put himself in the situation of somebody who's been abused, who's an abuser. Is basically about domestic violence and what you want to do to a person who hurts the innocent. And really, that's what A Gunshot to Head of Trepidation is about. It has a very catchy intro. It's the guitar and drums. It's a very catchy beat. Just the way it kicks off it sets the tone, and it's one of the crowd's favorites.
Oh yeah, that's the one everyone jumps to.
Yeah,
that's a powerhouse of a track. Speaking of powerhouses of tracks, like Light to the Flies.
Oh god, yeah, that's again one of my favorites. Like Light to the Flies is something that they had in Ember to Inferno, but it's one of those songs that segued into the album, so it didn't really make it. And I'm glad because it was different from Ember to Inferno. It was what they were missing in Ember to Inferno. Like Light to the Flies was exactly what they were missing, and it was that speed, that intensity, that the vocals finally started sounding like a professional band's, and it was just the complete package. That song was everything you want in a metalcore song.
Yeah, that song pretty much captures everything that this band has to offer.
Yep.
It's a really good cover letter.
Okay, and then that leads us into their first kind of ballad. It's not really a ballad, but
it's your metalcore ballad.
Yeah, metalcore ballad.
Clean vocals and that, the screamed bridge, minus the video, but.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Dying in Your Arms is pretty much your typical kind of. I don't think it stands out or anything, but it's your typical of like person who bad relationship basically, and someone who was toxic to you, and you remove them from your life.
Wasn't that like one of your favorites?
It used to be. It used to be one of my favorites, but there's been we'll talk about it in the later albums where it kind of got replaced. It used to be one of my favorites just because, again, relatable song. Looking back at it now, it felt like it was just your typical bad relationship song if it was by a metal band.
Yeah. The Deceived.
Yeah, The Deceived. Again, another fast-paced, really, really good rhythm guitar playing for this one. I think it really showed how Matt and Corey switch roles back and forth in this song. They go from lead to rhythm extensively in this one.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites to listen to.
Suffocating Sight. I think what stands out about when I think about that song is that one place where they start doing that filter of like the speaking through like a radio kind of thing.
The audio vocal effect.
Yeah, that vocal effect. They didn't really use it much after that. And it was like one of the weirdest. It was one of the strangest and most different screams Matt did in the whole album.
Yeah, this song kind of like.
It felt like an experiment.
Yeah, this definitely feels like kind of it belongs in that metalcore genre. Like I can totally hear, I don't know what other bands like Bullet for My Valentine like doing a song like that. But he just did Matt just talked about it. He did like a stream where he talked about a couple songs.
Oh.
And that's one of them. It's about like an anxiety attack, and I guess he used to have those a lot. So that's just kind of a song he wrote about it.
Departure. So Departure is really what the title does it justice. It does feel like you're kind of letting go of something.
It's about suicide, and like he had suicidal thoughts at some point, and he said it's very important to like talk about it. He started writing about what he was feeling, and that became Departure. So it's definitely a very dark song, but I guess it was pretty important to him.
Yeah, like I said, that's the feel I got from it, was just letting go of something. Declaration, what it feels like to me is like the aftermath of whatever he realized in Departure, the aftermath of that.
This is a song I really never listen to unless I hear the whole album, because every song before this one is just like such a great song, and this is the only one where I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, and then the bonus track, so that pretty much ends with Declaration. Yeah, so what they left off in Ember to Inferno that they didn't put on there, that's they put.
Yeah. They once again had Blinding Tears Will Break the Skies as a bonus track. I guess it just never made the cut on the actual album. I think it's a pretty good song.
Yeah. it just didn't sound like the rest of the album. I think that's why they left it out. And then Washing Away the Tide, what is it? Washing Away Me and the Tides. I never really understood why it was named like that. The name was weird to me. Like that's why I had to reread that because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a little weird to say.
It's a little bit weird to say. Washing Away Me and the Tides. But that song, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It just didn't sound like the rest of the album.
Yeah, again, I actually kind of really like this song. It's a bonus track that you can't really, like, it's whatever.
And then
it's just extra shit.
So the next one here, Master of Puppets, it's by Metallica, but the cover of Master of Puppets, that's what really got me into them, was that I heard that song. And at the time, when I first listened to Trivium, I still am a big Metallica fan. But I was like going through the Metallica phase that a lot of metalheads go through, which is where that's like their religion, and that's all they listen to. That's basically what really got me into them, was to listen to the Metallica cover, and it was really good. If in fact a little bit better, I think, than the original Master of Puppets to me.
Yeah, their covers, they covered a few songs, and that one, like they tried so hard to like get it exactly just like the original was. Minus, a few changes. Overall, yeah, this is like the classic Trivium album, right?
Yeah, it's a staple in their discography.
I think Matt even has this like third or second on his favorite albums. So,
really good work.
Yeah.
Again, a bunch of 18-year-olds by then, 18, 19-year-olds. Because they were 16. Matt was 16 when he wrote Ember. This one was like, he was like 18. So, yeah.
But this one has the now addition of Paulo and Corey. So
yes, which is pretty much, for the most part, without the drummer.
Which was also lacking in Ember to Inferno. Like, I don't know, like the bass in that album is just pretty whatever.
All right. Well, that does it for this one. Tune in for the next one.